Hey everyone, Alex here with Android Headlines, and we're here to unbox the Moto G4. Now the Moto G4 is the 4th generation of the Moto G, as you can probably tell by the name. Now the Moto G4 will be available on July 12th. Now depending on when you actually watch this video, it might be available for you already. The Moto G is continuing with putting in high-end specs for a pretty low price tag. So what we have here is a 5.5 inch full HD display with a octa-core processor. Now that is the Snapdragon 617. We have a 13 megapixel camera on the back with a 5 megapixel front facing shooter, and it has 4G LTE on all 4 US carriers. Now that includes Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, and AT&T. Not bad. We're looking at $179 for the 16GB model and $229 for the 32GB model. And as soon as we open up the box, we'll find that we have the Moto G4 right there on top, and it's got the screen protector showing you all the different features of the device. Now beneath the phone we have our turbocharger, something that the Moto G has really needed in the last few generations. And we also have the micro USB cable. So that means that we do have a micro USB port here and not USB Type-C. It seems that they've saved that for the high-end Moto Z, which should be coming out pretty soon. Now we also have all of the paperwork that comes with pretty much any other phone, but nobody really reads it, so we're probably not going to read it either. And we'll set all that aside and go back to the phone. Now here on the right side we have our volume rocker and power button. Up top is the 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the bottom we have the micro USB port. Here on the back we have our 13 megapixel camera with our LED flash and your Motorola Dimple that's been pretty much standard since Google took over Motorola a few years ago before selling it to Lenovo. So let's go ahead and peel off this screen protector and boot up the phone and see what Motorola and Lenovo has in store for us. And as you can see, it has the Moto logo there with powered by Android on the boot screen. So it looks like we don't have any of that fancy boot animation that we've seen on some of the older Motorola devices. And as you'll see, it does also say Lenovo because it is owned by Lenovo now. And it looks like we're into the phone now, so we'll go ahead and get started and select our language, which will keep it on English for United States. And then we'll log into our Wi-Fi real quick. And now that our Wi-Fi is all situated, it's checking the connection, which can take up to 2 minutes, but a lot of times it takes a lot less than that. And now it's talking about your privacy, which we're just going to accept and continue with that. And it's going to check for software updates, which there really shouldn't be any since the phone is brand new. It's not even actually available yet. And next up, we're going to log into our Gmail account. Now it's checking our info. It's going to sign us in real quick and ask us if we want to automatically back up our data so that if we have to do a factory reset or go to another phone, all of our data will be able to sync over via the cloud. And now it's going to ask us if we want to set up any other emails, which we're going to go with not now. We can always do that again later in the settings. And now it's going to ask you if you want to get your apps and data from another device, and we're just going to set this up as a new one. And of course you'll want to protect your device in case something does happen to it. And you can choose to either set up a lock screen now or do that later on as well. And of course with Google Now, we're always opting into getting Google Now. And then it's going to ask you if you want to keep up to date with what's going on at Motorola, and if you don't want to, you can always uncheck that. So now here we are in the UI for the Moto G4, and it looks pretty familiar if you used a Motorola device or even a Nexus device recently, because it is pretty much stock Android 6.0 Marshmallow. So jump into the storage, you'll see that we do have the 32GB model here. You'll notice that we have 3GB of RAM because that's all that the Moto G4 comes with. And you'll also see that we're running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, which is currently the latest version of Android. Now that's about it for the Moto G4. If you're interested in learning more about it, make sure to head over to androidheadlines.com.